Hey yo, what's the groove with my people, the daily recruits who never miss an episode, the Chico Army. But if you're new around these parts, you're just a lowly viewer of the tube. Know what's up? My name is Tyler, the host of the crypto channel that understands you don't mess with a girl's social media posts. TikTok? Shoot, put her in the UFC. It's time for Chico Crypto. Well, that sucks. Not the hair pull, but Bitcoin getting dragged back down yesterday. After looking bullish over the weekend, we broke 11K resistance and touched 11.1K, but after that, down, and then the big dip Monday, bouncing off of 10.4K as of shooting this video. The reason for this is oh so clear. Stonks, they got hammered Monday morning too. The 1 week chart for the Dow and Bitcoin dang similar. And if there was any doubt BTC isn't following the legacy financial system, I think that is gone now. But what was the reason for stonks to fall flat on their face? Well, if you search by mainstream news, this is what you will see from both sides, Democrat or Republican. We fell because of the Rona, as fears of it mount once again. Huh? Nah, sorry Charlene, it's because Finance 1.0 was exposed with their entire pants on the floor, exposing exactly what is going on. Banks are moving a ton of money for criminals, and our government is doing nothing about it. The headlines, bank shares dip with $2 trillion of suspect flows are under scrutiny. Global banks reported $2 trillion in suspicious transactions over 2 decades, new report shows, and BuzzFeed did a great article intro that explains what is going on. Dirty money pours into the world's most powerful banks. Money from druga cartels, organized crime rings, corrupt leaders, money that funds terror, bloody global battles, and human trafficking, all laundered clean. The banks don't stop the money, and the government doesn't stop the banks. The FinCen Files, thousands of secret suspicious activity reports offer a never-before-seen picture of corruption and complicity and how the government lets it flourish. Yeah, it was FinCen documents that were leaked, specifically Suspicious Activity Report SARS. Banks, they are required to spot movements of money it believes is suspicious and flag it as a SAR. The leak is a literal goldmine of these SARs, which paints a picture of how some of the largest banks in the world have criminal customers, and they filed the SARs as required, but there was a failure by governments and the banks to take action. Specifically in the US, the FBI is alerted about suspicious transactions within the United States borders and with US banks. The feds are supposed to look at it, do the tracing of transactions, and if they suspect fraud or illegal activities, they tell the banks to freeze or take action. But in reality, governments and their investigating bodies were turning a blind eye when they shouldn't have been for decades. And because of this, the banks started being compliant too. HSBC is specifically named working with a Ponzi coordinator, World Capital Markets, and laundering millions for them. HSBC filed the SARS to the federal regulators, which detailed almost 30 million in suspicious transactions, yet nothing was done. Even when regulators in California, specifically the Department of Business Oversight, issued the alert about the scheme. Although, finally, the SEC decided to step in and file charges, forcing HSBC to shut down the accounts. But by then, there was nothing left in them. They had been cleaned and ready to be moved across other accounts. This is just one of the stories. There are many from JP Morgan, Barclays, Deutsche Bank, Bank of New York Mellon, Standard Chartered, Bank of China, and even the United Arab Emirates Central Bank. And every case contains governments not doing a dang thing. The USA, Russia, the UK, China, Germany, Canada, and more. So I will tell you this right now. This is the reason for the stock market dip and thus the crypto dip. The markets, they are scared of increased regulation, and they should be, because our government, even before this, was talking about it. Last week, Thursday, September 17th, FinCen filed this, an advance notice of proposed rulemaking, and this document seeks public comment on potential regulatory amendments to establish that all covered financial institutions subject to an anti-money laundering program requirement must maintain an effective and reasonably designed anti-money laundering program. Scrolling down to Section 1, we can see the Bank Secrecy Act Advisory Group had some recommendations, and in monitoring and reporting, it said, this recommendation, clarifying expectations and updating practices for keep open letters and suspicious activity monitoring, investigation, and reporting, including SARS based on grand jury subpoenas and negative media. So, now that this is out in the open, I'm sure the SARS program is going to get an overhaul. The pressure will be on, which isn't good for Finance 1.0, including those nasty Wall Street banks. Which in reality, this is actually a good thing for cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the system being built called Finance 2.0. So just in May of this year, CoinDesk covered FinCen and SARS. The article is titled, Less than 1% of FinCen's suspicious activity reports since 2013 mentioned crypto. Criminals have been using banks, not crypto. Now, this first case of why this is good for Bitcoin, and I'm not trying to paint it as a good thing, but it's the reality of this world. It's criminals will always be there, and they will always be looking to launder their funds. If their traditional system is shut down, they look for new systems, and some of them are already using cryptocurrency. I covered it 7 months ago in a video titled Bitcoin's Deadly Use Case, China, Cartels, and Druga Money Laundering, showing the Rogue 100 OTC brokers, Chinese underground banking systems, and more. Now, these criminals are dumb AF because they are using Bitcoin, which is fully traceable. But this leads me into why it's another bullish case for crypto. Going back to HSBC, once the Ponzi coordinator had the funds cleaned by HSBC, he was able to get the funds out, and then they were gone forever. Banks, they each store their own ledgers, and they do their own record keeping. That is why once funds are clean, they can go kaput, as they can be transferred through a spider web of banks, leaving no trail behind. It's Finance 1.0's Achilles heel. Although Bitcoin is a fully immutable public ledger, and every transaction can be tracked, verified, and confirmed. If that Ponzi coordinator would have used BTC, it would be known where the funds are today, and could be likely stopped. Now, I know some of you will be like, hey, but BNY Mellon, they were caught part of this thing, funneling funds for a crypto Ponzi, OneCoin. Well, actually, OneCoin was fully Finance 1.0, as they only accepted euros for deposits and withdrawals on the exchange when it was functioning for the token. You want to know how much they took in the OneCoin scam? $4 billion. Today, the US is looking to seize $400 million this year from a convicted launderer, and then China in 2018 seized $268 million. So only just over 16% of the funds have been recovered and traced because of Finance 1.0's design. OneCoin had no involvement with BTC. It was all fiat. So the case of a public ledger is on full display. Even if that doesn't mean BTC, it means banks are going the way of blockchain, aka triple entry accounting. Just last month, following the OCC's letter about banks being allowed to offer crypto services, many of the banks responded, saying that yes, they would love to provide these services. I wonder why this is being done now. Well, yeah, of course, because it's the future of money and finance. But, like I've been saying, prepare for the worst come end of fall, beginning of winter. Crypto, it's following stonks, obviously. And Finance 1.0, by that time, the reality of the global situation will set in, and a possible second shutdown will be the nail in the coffin. This is just a little preview. Come post-November, no matter what happens, who's elected, the world we are used to will be over. Corporations, they know it. Governments, they know it. Banks, they know it. The priority lately has just been to keep public order. They won't be able to do that for long, and if they want to survive post this, they better integrate with crypto. Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.